What have we understood from what Jesus has told us? First and foremost, that though Jesus wanted to spend some time at the death of John the Baptist, who was his cousin in a way, when the crowds came, he was available to them. He had compassion on them and went out in that sense because they came to him. He went to them and told them many good things. In fact, he was speaking to them the whole day. Now you see, this is one of the lessons that we have to pick up. We may be tired and exhausted, but there comes a time when you must also give to the others, but not based on your own strength, the strength of the Lord. Because we are totally exhausted. We cannot do it. We'll get irritated. We'll get angry. It happens to all of us. But this is what the lesson that we can learn. In such moments, we must ask the Lord to work through us and reach out to the other without getting angry or irritated or in any other way giving them a bad experience. They've come to you, you must give them something good. Secondly, he is also concerned about them. He knows that now they've spent a lot of time. They need to be replenished physically, mentally, spiritually. He has already told them how to go about. While you speak to them, he has enlightened their minds. Now also he takes care of their physical needs. And so he tells his disciples, give them something to eat. He said, 5 loaves, 2 fish, what are we going to do? He says, get them here. So we must give what we have, the least that we have to him. He blesses and he multiplies. Let us keep that in mind, because sometimes there is a guest who has come to us, so there's someone and we have nothing to offer. But we may have small things. Give that little, break it and give it to them, saying, this is all that I have. They will be overjoyed and filled, not because of the food, but because God will replenish their energies. This is the kind of faith leap that we have to do. That's what Jesus is telling us. But now, when you are with the Lord, you may also tend to think that you know the Lord's mind just like that. You remember Peter, when Jesus asked them, who do you say that I am? He said, you are the Christ. And he told him, not you, Peter, it is my Father who has revealed this to you. Now, Jesus says, I'm going to die. They're going to reject me. They're going to put an end to me. Peter says, Lord, don't do this. He says, get behind me, Satan. You see? What can happen is, you can think that you know now God's will. I feel this way at my level, but I can't understand it. Yes, God knows better. So whatever you think and feel at that moment, surrender it to Jesus and He will teach you what we have to say and what we have to do. If we don't do that, then we'll be doing things on our own. It's only at our physical human level. We are also spiritual beings and we have to be in touch with God. That is what happened to Hananiah. He was prophesying instead of Jeremiah, telling the people, we will be set free by Nebuchadnezzar. But that is not the way it would happen. The yoke would be heavy on the people when you don't do God's ways and will. Then you draw upon yourself the negative, the problems. And so it is told to us to be careful. Now we are also celebrating the feast of Alphonsus Liguri. He is the founder of the religious congregation dedicated to Christ the Redeemer. They're called Redemptorists. Actually what happened was, he had joined a group of men, priests, who were doing missions for the very poor in Napoli. They were called Neapolitan order preachers. And he was doing very well because he was very generous, He was very intelligent and very practical. He did a lot of work, and then he finally felt, we need to have a congregation that will do this, that will have that kind of ability to go to them. And that's what he did. But what about his life? His life, he came from a very good, affluent family. The father, mother, and he was the eldest of the 7. All of them would do a retreat together in some monastery or church where they could, get a preacher. And at 16, since he was very brilliant, he had already got a doctorate in law. He had a very good career. He was doing very well. But he all of a sudden gave it up because something happened and it showed him that this is not his way of life. He should change it. And he joined this group. That's where he did it. He was extraordinary, very simple, very practical. Now, when he was in that congregation, they also felt he was so good that he was made the bishop of a small little diocese called St. Agatha de Gothi. And so he was there, he renewed it completely. But after some time, he gave in to writing. He wrote a lot on our Blessed Mother. The glories of Mary is something that is still there. But he wrote many things, 111 books and treatises, very important one. But he would be very practical. He who prays is saved. He who does not praise is damned. This type of things he would say. He said something else. If you are looking for the fruit, go to the tree. If you are looking for Jesus, go to Mary. And when you find Mary, you will surely find Jesus. Then he also said, contradictions, sufferings, pain, sicknesses, don't be afraid of them. They are only chisels which God uses to shape us for paradise, for eternity. And he says, anyone who opposes you, misfortunes, things like that, they are actually graces. God uses these things. In time they all change. The evil one brings them, but God will change it. So you see, this was a man who was really God-centered. But as he began to get older, he died at 90. What happened to him? He was blind and he was deaf. At that time, they made him sign for his congregation to have a royal patronage. And at that time, the congregation split. There was a faction in the group. And he was very pained by it because he thought this was all God's work. And now they have done this. But after he died, it was restored back again. So such things he had to go through. In the end, he was very miserable in his health. But he did not give up. He considered it God's plan that he should suffer in this way in union with Jesus for the salvation of souls. They used to feed him with a tube and he was very, very bedridden. Let us pray that we do not fear anything because all things work for good for those who believe in him. Let us spend a few moments, join our hands, close our eyes and be united to Jesus. He is with us all the time. Let us also be welcoming him at every breath in us and surrendering to him at every breath out. And in this way, let us remain more and more centered on him because we are not apart from him. We are cells in his body. Let us do this so that we are united to him in everything and at all times.